Hey everyone, this is Lisa from the Rhinestone World, and in this video I'm going to show you how to design, cut, and weed your first decal using your brand new Silhouette Cameo 3, and I'll be doing this in Silhouette Studio version 4. So we do have a previous tutorial where we go over it in version 3. We've updated it so that you can learn this in version 4.0, and we are going to make this little decal that's placed on a journal. So I am in Silhouette Studio. Now this is version 4.0. I'm actually running the 4.1 update, but going from version 3 to 4, there's a major facelift. So if you're brand new to Silhouette, this is the software that you're going to end up downloading. So you can see over here, my screen may look a little bit different than yours. I am running what's called the Business Edition update. Basically what that means is I have gotten a higher version of it that includes more features that include more designing features, but also features that help speed up my production process. So you can get the Business Edition update over at our website at therhinestoneworld.com, and if you ever want anything like that, you can always give us a call or email as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our first decal. So we are going to do a basic monogram. So let's go over here, and I'm going to use my text tool. So over here on the left side of your workspace, you're going to see tools that basically will create things. So create shapes, text, lines, all of that. So right here we have this A for text. Let's click right here in our workspace. And so a monogram has lowercase, uppercase, lowercase. And the middle initial is the last name. So we're going to do LPM for my monogram. And now we're going to take my mouse cursor and click and drag to highlight all of the letters in there. So that's how we select all of the text in there. And then over on the right side is how we edit things. And so here is our text edit panel. I'm going to choose a monogram font that I have. So let me go through, and I have one that's owned by us at the Rhinestone World called TRW Flourish. So let's go down here, and you can either search up here or you can scroll. So I'm just going to keep scrolling to find it. So you can see I'm in the S's right now, and I just have to wait till I get to the T's. We're almost there. So we're TRW. So let's go over here, and then I'm going to type in TRW Flourish monogram 1. So let's go over here, and so now you can see my text is changed. I can use this box here to increase it. So you can see here is my monogram, and there's one thing to note. So when you are using Silhouette Studio, it can be tricky at first. If you click on this and you choose a fill color right here, it looks pretty good, right? It looks like you're ready to go. However, one thing that we have noticed, and that is happening right now, is I go right here, I'm going to turn off my fill. We have these lines right here, and I'll zoom in so you can see. These lines here, so that is basically a guiding point for your machine. It'll cut straight through there. And we don't want these lines to be cut inside of our letters. So for script fonts, we're going to do something called a weld. And so a weld is going to get rid of these overlapping lines. So if you go to weld, there's two ways you can get to it. It's a quick access bar up here at the top, but you can also go to the right side, this icon right here towards the middle. This is called the modify panel. We can click on the modify panel, and right here we have weld. So let's go to weld. So now you can see our overlapping lines are all done. So now all I have to do is resize this to the side I need for my notebook. My notebook, it's a pretty decent size, so I'm going to cut my decal about 5 inches wide. So now before I cut, there's a couple things I need to check out. The first thing that I do as a personal preference is I go right here to this rectangle, click the rectangle, and you can see my cursor is now a little crosshair. So that means we're about to draw something. So let's click in here and drag, and now I'm drawing a little box. So what this is being used for is I'm using this as what's called a weeding box. It makes it easier on me to know when I'm weeding. After I cut it, all I have to do is look for the box, and I can start pulling on that. I don't have to guess where my design starts and if I'm weeding out the right section. So we have this all set, and now you'll see that you can see a cutting mat in my workspace. So with the Cameo 3, it's very important to tell Silhouette Studio if you're using a cutting mat or not. In previous versions of the Cameo, you could load media or load mat, and basically it brought it to a certain point and then started cutting. Well, now in the Cameo 3, you can only load. So you have to tell the software, hey, how far do I bring in this material? Because if you don't have a cutting mat set up, but you are cutting into a mat, it's going to start cutting into your actual mat. So right here at the top, we have our page set up. You'll see we have, this is our design setup. And right here we have cutting mat. So if we didn't have a cutting mat, we just did none, you could see that it's going to feed in that way. So we want to go right here, go to Cameo. So now we have a Cameo cutting mat all set. So now all of the technical parts are done. We want to set up our cut panel for our first cut. So right here we have the send panel. It's in the top right corner. So we'll go to send. And so you're going to see a bunch of options. So 4.0 has had a couple different options coming out. So with this latest update, they've streamlined the cut panel a little bit better. So you can see we have our action by, and we're going to do simple. So that means we're just going to cut everything in our workspace. So this is a great option for your first cut. So you can see we have material in here. Now Silhouette comes pre-programmed with a lot of different kinds of vinyl. What I like to do is I like to program my own that are specific to the brand that I use. So over at the Rhinestone World, we have FDC brand decal vinyl. So let's say I want to add in a new thing. So we're going to add new material type. So I'm going to do this right here. And so now we're going to have all these options here. So you can see it says user defined. I'm going to right click on new material and we're going to rename it. And then I'll title it new FDC because I already have FDC in here. So new FDC, I'm gonna hit enter, and now I can adjust what is happening with my vinyl. So I'm gonna do my blade on 3, my speed at 6, and then force basically means, it means how hard this blade is going down. So for this, I'm gonna set my speed at 10, and then my force around 6. So once we have that, I'm gonna go over and save it. So now I have new FDC. So after you put in your new material, you can close out of here. And so what you can have that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do my normal FDC. So I have speed 10, force 6, passes 1. And so right here, if you ever want a test cut, you would do right here. But I am all set, so I'm going to go over and we're going to load our material in, and then we're going to send this to our cutter. So here's the Cameo 3. I have it all set up. You can see I have my auto blade over here. I threw in an old ratchet blade just in case I need it, and then I have it turned on. So I have our power button over here, so we can turn it off, turn it back on, and we're all set to go. So we have this all set, and now here is my cutting mat. So you'll see we have a cutting mat, we have this blue paper. We can go ahead and peel this up, and you'll notice that the paper has a shiny side and a matte side. Make sure that this slick side goes onto your mat when you're done. So our mat's gonna be nice and sticky. If your mat is not sticky and it's brand new, then you are not using an official Silhouette cutting mat. So just be careful with some of those Amazon retailers. So I have some vinyl. This is FDC glitter, and this is a white glitter. So I really like this. It kind of adds a little sparkle, but it's not super overwhelming. So when you put your vinyl on a cutting mat, you want to line it up with this corner here. So I'm going to line this up right here. And if you're doing your first cut, you are probably using a full 12 by 12 sheet of vinyl, and it's the same process. You're just going to slap it right on there. So here's my vinyl, and you'll see on your machine you have these lines right here. That is what you line up your material or your cutting mat up to. So we're going to take our cutting mat, we're going to put it on the side, the cutting mat right on there, and you'll see that this thick part of the roller is also on the edge of my mat. So we have this all set, and I'm just kind of holding the mat up against my Cameo. So let's do load. And so now the next step is we just need to go over to cut, and we've already set up our cut settings from before. So we're just gonna go right into Silhouette, and then we're gonna go through and do send. So now my cut is done. We're just gonna wait for this processing message to go away. And then once that's done, we can go right here to unload. We're gonna take our cutting mat off. And because your mat is brand new, it's probably going to be sticky. So a way to peel off your vinyl without making it curl is flip your mat over and peel your mat off of your vinyl instead of peeling your vinyl off of your mat. So that'll help keep your vinyl straight. See? So now we're gonna just move this to the side, and then we're ready to weed out this design. Our decal is all cut. So this is where the weeding box comes into play. So we're gonna go over and find where this box is cut. Now I'm gonna peel up on the box and just start peeling up. So sometimes, depending on your cut, and especially if it's your first cut, you may have snags in your vinyl. With this vinyl specifically, it's a little bit thicker than some of the other of the same brand. So there might be sections where I need to like pull up on it a certain way or hold down a section. So just keep in mind how you're peeling up your vinyl as you're going, because you want to just make sure you have a nice clean pull. So we're going to continue weeding this, and so you're just going to weed out everything you don't want, and then once we're done with that, we're going to pick it up with our transfer tape. So now I have my design weeded. We're just going to take out this excess that was outside of my weed box. And now we have it all set. So this design's a little bit harder to see because it's white. You can see we have that right here. So the next step is we want to transfer this. We want to be able to pick up our decal and put it on our car or journal or whatever we have. So we have transfer tape here. So to figure out if we have a big enough piece of transfer tape, you're going to bring your tape over with the non-sticky side on top. So that way you're not accidentally picking up your tape, and you can really figure out if you have the right amount of tape ready. So now we have that over. I'm just going to cut it off and move this to the side. So now we're ready to put our transfer tape down. So there's a couple different ways you can put your tape down. Some people like to go to the side. I like to start in the middle and then work my way out like this. So now you need a scraper. Some people use an old credit card. Anything flat that can kind of, this is called burnishing. So we're burnishing our vinyl onto the transfer tape. So we're just gonna go right here, grab this, and so now we're all set to go. I'm just gonna trim this down a little bit closer to make it look prettier if I'm gonna give it to someone or sell it. Have it all set like this. We have this all ready. So we have made our first decal. Once we're ready to apply it, we're just going to peel up this tape. You'll see that your decal comes up with the tape. And then we're just going to place this down onto our car or bag or laptop or anything. And once our decal is down, the tape will peel right up. The tape does not stay on there. So just make sure if you're giving this to someone or selling, make sure that they do take the tape off after. So if you have any more questions, you can comment below or email us at info@therhinestoneworld.com. Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click here to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you'd like more training on your silhouette cameo, click here to view our silhouette playlist. And don't forget to like and subscribe.